Very, very good afternoon. Almost, I should say, good evening to you all. And having the last session, I think is a little bit challenging, but I hope I can share something which you may remember beyond today. And as I walked in, I really felt very positive vibrations on this floor, and I think when we have a shared common agenda or shared mission, I think that's where we all come together. And I was also welcomed by this beautiful book that I think I just missed the reading session, and I was just going through it. And I thought I would just start how I feel now. And I like this is the last page. It says, every day I can thank my brain for all that I do and for helping connect me to new friends like you. So I hope this is actually for me. I think there is already a community, but I hope I can also join you and stay connected and be part of this wonderful community. And really, thank you very much for having me here. I was just telling some of you that I'm so glad to be out of the other side of Manhattan to be here to get this positive vibration. Well, I mean, UN is also very important, but I do feel honestly that UN has to be out there and working more closely with you. So I'm very happy to meet you all. So I am director of crisis bureau. What does it mean? We have a lot of crises in the country, in the world. Well, Gaza, Syria, Ukraine, also Afghanistan, not only in the current political context, but also on the recent earthquake. Look at Nepal, also, we just had a political crisis there. So these are the kind of countries that UNDP is supporting, and this is the bureau within UN Development Program where I am part of. Across the world, 1 in 8 people lives with a mental disorder, and the WHO reports that those exposed to poverty, violence, disability, and inequality are at higher risk. And too often, gunfire, bombs, and screams echo across generations and through the trauma of survivors. I don't know whether any of you have ever experienced, natural disasters. Have you gone through the kind of, I don't know, crisis, political crisis, war? In actually in the UN, we do have those colleagues actually who experienced those. And luckily, me coming from Japan, I never went through any war, but there was one moment when I understood a little bit better what it is like to go through the fighting and war. It was in 2016 in Turkey where they had a coup attempt, and I was in Ankara at the airport, and the coup just started. Then suddenly I hear the fighter jets just coming very close to the roof of the airport. It shakes, the gunfires coming closer and closer, and the whole night I couldn't sleep, and I was sleeping on the floor at the airport. And this is where I thought of those refugees in Syria, refugees in those days, yeah, mainly Syria, that they are going through it every day, not those 24 hours that I have gone through. And I am, in a way, still a bit traumatized when I hear that gunfires. I do remember those. So these are the kind of people on the ground that we are trying to support. So brain health and skills to process crisis are really the key, and it's very difficult for all of them, all, I mean, including me as well, to rebuilding as well as a future prosperity and peace. for their vital work towards this. I really thank the co-host of this amazing get together, the Brain Capital Alliance, Brain Economy Hub, Rice University, Davos Alzheimer's Collaborative, the Brain House, McKinsey Health Institute, Euro, Mediterranean Economists Association, the University of Sydney, Neurosensory, and the Building Brains Coalition, and all of you. And it's really amazing that all of us are here today, and you really I feel personally very proud to discuss this issue, cooperate with you, and hope we can find something very concrete. My colleagues told me that 2 weeks ago, UNDP, EMEA, and Rice University had held already a working session on brain positive innovations in crisis recovery and development. I hope that you understand the word recovery or development, because I think among UN we use this word for specific reasons: recovery from crisis, recovery from the complete devastation. It's not like a meant, that how to say, the health recovery, but it's more about the recovery of the whole community and people. Development is not also building new buildings, but more about, I don't know whether you are familiar with Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, much more social development that we're talking about. The message from this group of public and private sector participants was very clear. The brain economy frameworks must adapt to crisis survivors. And because in crisis, the investing in brain capital is not optional, it's a lifeline for peace, well-being, inclusion, and a lasting recovery. And in contrast, if development efforts supporting brain capitals are delayed, 40% of post-conflict countries, 40, relapse back into violence. So recovering isn't just about rebuilding what was lost. It's about developing something better, something new. For example, when schools, clinics, or community spaces are trauma informed, inclusive, and support brain health, they become places of healing and trust. And this trust is extremely important in the crisis context. We, I think, underestimate that sense of trust, but healing, trust, and also belonging in conflict-prone countries really is important. Crisis fracture health and trust. Yet people evolve in extraordinary ways, from drought-stricken farmers to conflict refugees. They adapt to extreme circumstances and constant change. They rebuild their lives even as basic building blocks are still being delivered, like security, services, and shelter. And I have, last year around this time, I visited Ukraine. And what struck me was that while well, two things. The sirens are there 9 o'clock in the evening or 2 o'clock in the morning. One, people become, or they have become immune, that even when the sirens are going on, that still outside, people don't go back to the shelters, but just enjoy walking. So that's one type of brain resilience that I have seen. Second is that I have seen some buildings completely destroyed, or I don't know whether you remember Bucha, which was attacked on very fast days by Russian troops. Complete devastation. But from a day after the troops withdrew, the reconstruction recovery process started. So by the time I went there, that was 2.5 years after the conflict. It's rebuilt, and they were receiving actually other internally displaced people. So yes, I was very impressed, and then this is also what the brain economy is about, and the people's resilience is about. Yes, we are especially human beings in that very difficult circumstances, you see the unexpected power of brain and resilience. But yet, I think we still need to pay extra attention. So how do we design the brain economy to value and strengthen resilience even further, not simply to admire it as a survival mode? UNDP's role here is to connect global ambition with local realities. So crisis hit countries aren't left behind. And in each crisis country, we have people. And those people that I meet, whether it is in Ukraine or South Sudan or um, Ethiopia, wherever or Afghanistan, people don't want to live on humanitarian assistance. They want to restart their lives. So with this, in Ukraine, we are supporting, for example, psychological support center. I have also visited one kind of kindergarten where children's special needs are addressed, especially after this traumatic experiences that they are having, and that has art therapy. We also need to provide the legal aid and so on. We really need to have a package of support, and I think that's where I think mental health plays central role. In South Sudan, I met refugees who actually left South Sudan for Sudan to avoid the fighting. But then, in the recent crisis in Sudan, again they have to come back to their own country again as like a double refugees. And what happens to them is that their houses are gone. Take the land that they used to own are taken by another tribe, another ethnic groups. They don't have legal, documentation, so they come back again as internal or refugees within their country. I mean, it's so traumatic what they are going through. You see sometimes those refugees, footage on TV. Please, next time, do remember that this is such difficulties behind each of them, and so that to rebuild trust and reduce risk of violence, returning those things that we talk often among ourselves, it's so difficult, and this is why to healing part of the recovery process becomes extremely important. So when the recovery is long term and people centered, every investment in services, skills, infrastructure becomes an investment in brain capital. We know the cost of ignoring this. Each year of lost schooling cuts lifetime earnings by nearly 10%. Brain disorders also cost the global economy $5 trillion by 2030. It may become 16 trillion. And as we know, the returns, every dollar invested in mental health and skills can yield up to $15 in productivity and social cohesion. Every dollar in prevention can save over $100 in conflict costs. So the brain economy is not a luxury for stable countries, it is a lifeline, especially for fragile countries. Partnerships are the key to unlock this. And we UNDP would like to really work with you. We offer a kind of bridging the bridging role from humanitarian relief to lasting recovery and development. We have a network across 170 countries, working with governments, banks, and then very importantly, communities themselves. And we also do have convening power to bring them together. We are just celebrating our 60th birthday this year. This year. So we have that trust with different parts of the country. Our partners from academia, industry, and philanthropy are advancing measurements tools, financing models, and innovation. And we really do connect them to where they are needed most. So we like to work with you to design financing that values mental well-being along the physical infrastructure. And let's really treat this brain health and skills as national and global assets, as critical to resilience at schools, energy systems, or justice institution. A child walking back into a safe classroom, a nurse who feels supported, not burnout, a young entrepreneur turning resilience into opportunity. These are the faces of the brain economy. And we really would like to work with each of you on brain economy. So once again, thank you very much. And you have really inspired me a lot today. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Shoko.